Plant and machinery allowances are available for the cost of plant or machinery. In practice, the definition of machinery is usually pretty straightforward, but the exact meaning of plant is much more problematic. We therefore need to consider the extensive case law that has addressed the issue. The earliest case, to which nearly all others refer back, had nothing to do with capital allowances or indeed with taxation. The case in question, Yarmouth v. France, was heard way back in 1887 and concerned a workman who had been injured by a horse. The question of whether he was entitled to any compensation turned on whether or not the horse was plant. Lord Justice Lindley noted that there was no definition of plant in the relevant legislation, just as there is none today in the capital allowances legislation. But he went on to propose the following definition. It includes whatever apparatus is used by a businessman for carrying on his business, not his stock in trade which he buys or makes for sale, but all goods and chattels, fixed or movable, live or dead, which he keeps for permanent employment in his business. This quotation has been approved over and over again in all the courts in discussing the meaning of plant for capital allowances purposes. It can be seen as the cornerstone definition and, subject only to statutory provisions that restrict or expand its scope, it is thus of preeminent importance in determining what does or does not qualify as plant. The key concepts to be drawn out of the quotation are the use of the term apparatus and the breadth of the definition, encompassing all goods and chattels, fixed or movable, live or dead. In other words, Lindley gave to the word plant the widest possible meaning. Nearly 100 years later, this wide definition of plant was emphatically reaffirmed in the Scottish and Newcastle breweries case. Lord Lowry in the House of Lords warned against interpreting the term in too restrictive a manner. He said, "I think that much difficulty is caused by seeking to place limitative interpretations on the simple word plant. I do not think that the classic definition propounded in Yarmouth v. France suggests that it's a word which is other than of comprehensive meaning." And Lord Denning in Munby v. Furlong accepted that a barrister's law library was plant. In so doing, he noted that the concept of plant has, for tax purposes, acquired, in the interests of fairness, a wider meaning than elsewhere. So, the definition of the term plant is very broad, but it is also very difficult to pin down. In the Cole Brothers case, Lord Justice Stevenson commented that tax inspectors may be pardoned for finding anything or almost anything to be or not to be plant, and may be justified in making any number or almost any number of inconsistent concessions and illogical distinctions. And in the Wimpey decision, the courts considered the treatment of many different assets and ruled one way or the other on each. Nevertheless, Lord Justice Lloyd commented that all the items in dispute were items which could have fallen on either side of the line. So the meaning of plant may be very broad, but it is not, of course, wholly unrestricted.